nasa Dubai nga siya noon eh. Alas 5 ng umaga sa kanila. Tapos alas 5:30, no? Tapos alas 8:30 yata rito sa Maynila noon. Nakipagkwentuhan tayo sa kanya. At masigasig niyang kinikwento kung ano yung mga dapat na sinagawa natin noon pa. Panayam tayo uli sa kanya ngayon. Dahil nauulit pa rin yung mga problema eh. Walang iba kung hindi...
Ang urban planner, si Architect Felino Palafox. Good morning po.
Morning, Architect June.
Morning, Georgios and Marisa.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Again here, yeah.
Sir, noon nangyari na ito, 2009, naulit ngayon, 11 years later. Ano ba ang sitwasyon natin? Hindi ba natin na ipaplano pa rin ng gusto ang ating mga lungsod?
Yeah. I remember, Georgios, you called me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Ginising mo ako. Nasa Dubai ako. I think 9 o'clock here for our difference. Sabi mo, some of our leaders, they blame it was an act of God daw yung undoy at saka baha. Then, I remember telling you, it's a sin of omission. Kasi yung measures dyan, yung Parañaque Spillway, dredging ng Laguna Lake, reforestation of the mountains, hindi ginawa. And sabi ko, 2006, nagbayad ako ng scholarship sa UP, kaya 3 years yata ako sa government, and assign ako sa Metroplan Manila. And Metroplan Manila, it was Transport Land Use Development Planning Project. And one of the, tinignan namin yung mga disasters like flooding, earthquake, and so on. And I remember, we were about 90 for 14 months. We had 20 experts, international experts provided by the World Bank, World Bank project. And we said that time, I remember, with the do-nothing scenario, we will have catastrophic traffic, flooding, not prepared for disasters, lack of decent housing, not enough clean water, sanitation, and not prepared for disasters and flooding and so on. I was 26 years old. Ngayon, 70 years old na ako. Habang ginagawa yung Metroplan, I was named hard, invited to help plan Dubai for the next 50 years. Anyway, after Ondoy, when you called me up, marami yatang nagalit sa sinabi ko na, it's not act of God, but sin of omission of men and women running our country. And sabi ko, Laguna Lake, it's like a toilet without a flush. Kasi ginawa yung spillway. It's like a big bathtub with 23 faucets going into Laguna Lake.
23 faucets, kumbaga 23 tributaries, mga ilog?
Yeah, 22 rivers sa Manggaan Floodway.
Okay.
Kasi Manggaan Floodway ginawa para i-divert ang floodwaters on the mountains towards Laguna Lake para protect ang Metro Manila. Bumagsak na tubig from the mountains was more than 4,000 cubic meters per second. Ang capacity ng Pasig River, 600 cubic meters per second lang. So sana punta yung more than 4,000 cubic meters per second.
3,400 na labis, cubic meters per second. So umapaw yun, naging baha.
So ang flooded area, 80,000 hectares of urban land. And you know what's 80,000 hectares of urban land? Malaki pa sa Singapore. Singapore is only 71,000 hectares.
Wow.
So after that, pinatawag ko ni Presidente dahil sa interview mo eh.
Si President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo pa po noon.
So I gave him, and in fact that time, I employed a Dutch architect, Daniel Roos, to work with us, and we came out with, under Gloria, 23 recommendations. In-approve niya kaagad yung dredging of Laguna Lake. And unfortunately, kinancel out ng succeeding administration. And I'm told we're paying almost 900 million for canceling that contract. And all the recommendations we gave, 23 lang that time, 23 recommendations, but after that, I gave 145 recommendations to include not just flooding, lessons from Ondoy, Yolanda, earthquakes, fire, and so on. And with the timeline, the first, September 2016 a bit, the first 100 days, then short-term, medium-term, long-term, 2010 to 2020. And unfortunately, wala halos ginawa doon. And even there are 18 kinds of disasters. 10 man-made and 8 natural disasters like flooding, earthquakes, and so on. Sabi ko rin, it's 90% less expensive or cheaper to address the 18 hazards before they become disasters. Aside from saving human lives, properties, and infrastructure. So if this were done, siguro hindi ganun kalala yung flooding nung Ulysses. Hindi nagawa eh. And of course, the past 11 years, dumami na yung mga buildings. Like nung araw, Fort Bonifacio was practically grassland. There are more buildings now and roadways. So lumaki yung run of water from the mountains. And I remember environmental lawyer Tony Opasa was telling me, there's a law na every barangay, 44,000 barangays, must have a water retention basin or rainwater harvesting. You check that out na lang.
Opo, meron pong ganung batas nga. Na bawat barangay dapat may rainwater catchment area.
So I even
obligasyon po.
Tingnan niyo yung mga building code, obsolete na rin. So like after Yolanda, ang building code natin 240 kilometers per hour lang and wind speed. Yolanda was more than 300. So may ginawa naman ng gobyerno and increase yung wind speed to 330 kilometers per hour. Pero recommend namin noon, then sa structural code, sa earthquake, dapat increase to more than 8 intensity. Hanggang ngayon, nasa 7 pa rin. So kung may 7.2 earthquake, ano ng JICA noong 2004? 50,000 people will get killed. That's 2004, ha? And many buildings will collapse, especially low-rise buildings. High-rise buildings, 2% lang dahil gumagamit ng architects and structural engineers in tall buildings. Pero low-rise buildings hindi gumagamit. So pagdating sa flooding, I think I submitted 37 recommendations to address flooding out of the 145 recommendations. And kaya sinend ko to policy decision makers last Monday or Tuesday itong 145 recommendations. So I think Wednesday they're inviting me to the Senate to what happened or whatever and what are these 145 recommendations. They are not even dredging all the rivers.
Pang ilang imbitasyon nyo na po ito? Kasi ito, ako nga ilang beses ko nang sinulat din yung sinasabi niyong batas na sinasite ni Attorney Tony Oposa, environmentalist, na sa Cebu. Ilang beses niya nang binanggit sa akin yan. Ilang beses ko na siyang kinote, sinulat ko rin po sa column ko, lalo na pag ganitong mga baha. May mga tumatawag sa akin, mga mambabatas, mga opisyales. Sabi nila, tama ito maganda ito, kailangan i-enforce na ito na bawat barangay may water catchment. Wala rin
Si Tony Aposa, nasa abroad na, kinukonsulta sa ibang countries. Ako naman, after Metroplan and after Dubai, natulungan ko na 40 countries.
Kayo rin. Nakakapagplano kayo ng mga syudad na matino sa ibang bansa. Pero dito, ayaw nilang makinig
Parang I think we seem not to learn from mistakes made and not to adopt the best practices in the world.
Kasi nga ang katwiran natin, mga baluktot One, kagagawa ng Diyos ito kagustuhan ng Diyos ito.
Saka resilient ang Pilipino.
Naman ang Pinoy.
Tapos number 2, matatag ang Pilipino, kaya natin ito. Ay mga palusot natin
May sinulat ka akong libro, The Philippines Towards Resilient Cities and Communications and Communities. National Bookstore told me, sold out kaagad. Tapos I got an award, Best Author Award. Arkitekto naging Best Author Award.
Congratulations.
Imagine.
Pakinggan kayo.
Pinapakinggan kayo ng mga mamamayan, pero ang mga pamunuan natin, yun ang problema nasa kanila yung kakayahan Halimbawa, ito sinasabi nyo, ang daming papasok na, ang daming bukas na gripo, pinupuno yung lababo na tinatawag na Laguna de Bay.
Wala naman drain.
Walang drain. Walang labasan. So natural, aapaw yan. Babahain yung mga komunidad sa paligid. Bakit hindi pa magawa yung drain na yon? Yung tinatawag na Parañaque Spillway.
Yeah. Na in-approve ni President Gloria. In fact, sabi ko, dahil yung spillway, open canal, maraming subdivision sa Parañaque. So, pinupose ko yung para sa Kuala Lumpur, smart tunnel,
Opo.
stormwater management and road tunnel. I think about 12 kilometers. Nagawa yan sa Kuala Lumpur. I think 5 years lang yata, about 12 kilometers long. Yung smart tunnel na yan, 3 levels. So, yung topmost level, pwedeng tollway, roadway. Yung first level, second level, pwedeng spillway. And during heavy floods, pwedeng the whole tunnel, pwedeng spillway. Na describe ko ngayon smart tunnel. In fact, pwedeng gawin ng private sector yan, gawin toll road. From the Laguna Lake front up to Manila Bay front. And with the creating a new roadway.
Sapat na po yun para lumabas ang tubig. Miski isang drainage lang ng 23
and with road tunnel, you alleviate the traffic situation congestion pa sa Sukat Road. Parallel Sukat Road. In-approve ni GMA, but I don't know what happened afterwards.
Grabe. Parang hindi na tayo natututo eh. Pati mga ibang lungsod dito sa Pilipinas, ganun din eh. Marami ako napapansin eh, na naggumagawa ng mga subdivision, tapos ni walang drainage, walang sewerage.
Yeah.
Nagugulat ako eh. Ano ito?
Yung mga like yung mga epidemic sa Europe noon, London, Paris, after that, ginawa nila yung mga sewerage systems, clean water, public sanitation, more parks and playgrounds for improved immunization. Sa US, nagkaroon din epidemic, kaya ginawa yung Central Park and more than 100 parks in cities in the US. Habang lumalaki yung population, nag-i-increase yung open spaces. Like Singapore, 5 million na sila. Lumalaki yung open spaces, parks and playground. Sa atin, habang dumadaming population, binebenta yung mga open spaces. And open spaces and parks are the lungs of the cities, and these are also evacuation areas. And
That's true.
tignan, wala ako dito no, ginawa yung Metro Manila Zoning Ordinance. I-compare mo yun to 2020, ang daming reclassify ng local governments units na pwedeng ibenta ng developers yung open spaces. Never, I don't think any place in the world would do that. Kaya,
So,
I think unahin na rin yung isabay na rin yung reforestation. And may mga volunteers lang like si Father Bel Bentran SBD. He has 10 million bamboo plants for the whole country. Uunahin niya yung Marikina watershed and the Laguna Lake watershed. And I think kayang gawin yan na dapat magtulungan na lang kasi hindi kaya yan ng gobyerno eh. Kaya dapat private sector involved. May ginawa rin yung National Risk Reduction Management Council na kami nanalo ng master plan sa Clark. Yung parang institute ng for disasters, i-simulate lahat yung earthquakes, fire, flooding, and so on.